You don't hit the golf ball far enough. Your friends don't hit the golf ball far enough. In fact, the entire golfing population doesn't hit the golf ball far enough. I found out that the average driver distance for the entire golfing population, on average, between ages, handicaps, everything, when it's all averaged out, is 215 yards. That's shocking. But based on my numbers, I would say it's pretty darn accurate. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through 3 super simple drills where we're going to create some different numbers with the launch monitor. We're going to create a slightly different path and angle of attack. And we're going to create a little extra speed for you on the very last drill. This is going to make you a better player. It's going to make you hit the golf ball further. And it's going to help you enjoy golf way more than you're used to. So you're probably thinking to yourself, if I'm going to hit the ball further, I probably just need more speed, right? Well, yeah, we'll get to speed in a little bit, but we can outsmart your golf swing a little bit by using some parameters that will help you hit the ball further. The first one is going to be angle of attack. Now, I'm sure you've heard of angle of attack. It's merely just the angle at which the golf club's approaching the golf ball, and at the moment of impact, it's going to tell me if it was a positive angle of attack, that would be going upward, or a negative angle of attack, going downward. Most golfers that are poor players, higher handicappers that hit the ball the shortest tend to be that golfer that hit the golf ball on the downward angle. And it could just be 1 or 2 degrees down. Now, as you get faster and you swing faster and you get up into the 110s, the 115s, 120s, we don't need such a positive angle of attack. And you can see many PGA Tour players hit down a little bit on the golf ball. That helps them keep the ball on the planet because at those speeds, the ball's traveling really fast. That is not your scenario. We need to make sure at a slower swing speed, the 80s, the 85s, the 90s, the average Joe weekend golfer, when you're swinging this golf club, you're going to need a positive angle of attack. So how are we going to get a positive angle attack? 2 drills, very simple. First drill, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you set up to the golf ball. And because we want to make sure we're swinging up and out into this golf ball, we're going to set up, we're going to make sure the golf ball's a little forward. We're going to tilt our shoulders a little bit, not excessively, right? I just want to see a little bit of shoulder tilt at address. And we're going to start with the club way back here, kind of outside your trail foot. And what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips a little forward and you're just going to drag the golf club. Drag it, drag it, drag it. And right about center of your stance, you're going to feel like you're going to start to go upwards. And when you go upwards, you're going to go up and out. So you're going to go this way. I want you to feel what it's like to drag the club and swing up and out. The upward's very, very important. Most poorer players will actually have the opposite look. They're going to have a look that looks like this, where their arms are bent and folded, because as they come down and hit that golf ball, their arms have to go into defense mode and they have to get short and they have to defend against breaking off because you're coming across your body and down. So make a couple practice swings, and you can do this on the golf course. You can take the club, put it back here, and practice almost dragging and flinging it out to, like, say, right field or over the second baseman's head. The second drill is a variation of that, but you actually get to incorporate a golf ball. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is find the biggest tee you can. Now, inside, I just have to stack a couple tees together, but what we're going to do is we're going to stick these tees on top of each other, and I'm going to stick this golf ball in the same spot it was. We've got the highest tee we possibly can. Get set up, and then when you're ready, shimmy back a little bit further. A little bit further than you ever think you'd ever need to set that golf ball up. I need you to feel and move into this golf ball as far as you can, so you have to extend your arms outward. I want you to hit this ball the highest, the furthest, and the most rightward you can. There's a point to this. So again, most bad golfers hit down and across. When that ball's that far forward, you can't come down and across it. So make sure it's far enough forward. Swing up and out. And you're going to get that really solid look where your arms get really, really long. That is going to help you gain a positive angle of attack to start hitting the golf ball further at your swing speeds. So we fixed angle of attack, right? So now you're thinking, okay, Scott, is this where we add all the speed? Not yet. We're not ready for that yet. We got to do one more thing before we get to hitting the ball hard and high and far. So since we fixed angle of attack, we're going to do one last thing. We're going to talk a little bit about depth. So when I see golfers come to my lesson tee that are hitting it short, right, not hitting it anywhere, hitting it really bad, typically they come to me with a lack of depth. And now they've been told, hey, if I want to hit the ball high and far, I've got to get my arms way up in the air. I got to put them up here. so I can have more time to create speed. So I don't know what they're trying to accomplish, but it's not working. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure when you make a backswing, you don't lift your arms anymore. So by not lifting your arms, you're going to have the ability to swing up and out and more from the inside. This is what the best golfers in the world do. If you look at someone like Rory McIlroy, what you're going to notice from them is that they make a backswing. Their arms get really long and really straight, but they have a lot of depth. That's how far in their hand path moves. The poorer players tend to have a lack of depth up here at the top of their backswing, and you almost feel like their left arm is kind of choking them out here at the top of their backswing. So we don't want that. We want to make sure you have enough depth so when you do come down, it's not from a position here where you're coming down, out, over the top, and kind of coming down into the golf ball with that negative angle attack. We want the ability to swing in, up, and out on this golf ball so we can continue having a good positive angle of attack. So how are we going to do that? We are going to take a stick. Now find yourself maybe a ruler, maybe cut a yardstick in half, but it doesn't have to be too big, maybe 16 inches long. Got one here. And you're going to take it and you're going to stick it underneath your trail arm. And so when you do it, take the end and just barely stick it into your trail arm right there. And I want you to make sure it's got enough length on this side so you kind of see it. It's going to be in your way. Now you're thinking to yourself, I've done the towel drill, I've done the head cover drill. That's fine, but there's not a third dimension here where the towel or the head cover hangs out in front of you. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that stick and you're going to set up to a golf ball. I'm not going to hit it at first, and you're going to squeeze that stick into that trail armpit right here. And you're going to give it a nice little squeeze. So be a little tense. When you make your backswing here, I want you to keep squeezing it underneath your trail arm. And then as you take the club further back, I want your left arm or your lead arm to stay underneath the stick at all times. Don't let it come out and over it. Don't push it out of the way to make it drop onto the floor. I need you to make some swings where you don't lift your arms at all, where they stay nice and connected to you, and you create way more depth than you're used to. So it's going to look a little something like this, depth. So you can make that nice in to out and up swing path on this golf ball. Now, when you're ready, I would recommend going really slow and just maybe hitting a few up and out, squeezing that in your armpit and taking it slow so you don't hurt yourself at first. So here's what it's going to look like. Squeeze it. And you might get some erratic shots at first, but you're just trying to feel what it's like not to raise your arms up. You're going to get immediate feedback if you take the club back, you lift your arms up in the air, that stick falls out, drops behind you, you hear it, and then you come back down across the golf ball and boom, ball goes high, short, nowhere. We're not having fun anymore. So now that you've actually worked on your angle of attack and not lifting your arms, I will bet you that you are absolutely positively hitting the ball further than you ever have before, just with those two parameters alone. Now here comes the speed part. You've been thinking about it, you've been waiting on it, and you're like, when is Scott going to get to the speed? This is where the speed comes from. The speed comes from our legs. Speed comes from a vertical force being applied to the ground to create speed. There's a lot of ways to do speed and create speed. Some do it with their hands, their arms. Some do it by sliding. Some do it by turning. But the easiest way for golfers that are having a hard time hitting a golf ball far enough to play golf is they need to apply a vertical force. So, and it's going to happen from the lead side. So the most common way to show someone this is if I took a medicine ball or an impact bag, similar to this one here. I'm going to hold on to it as if it's a medicine ball, and we're at the gym, right? So I'm going to, if it's my golf club, I'm going to make some pretend backswings. So what do you notice? From the down the line view, my right hip goes up and back, and my left leg flexes a little bit, right? So you notice I flex my left leg, my right leg extends. Pretty common move for pretty much any athlete in any sport. Flexion, extension, here we go. My legs change flex. From here, this is what we're going to do. From the face-on view, we're going to move forward. We're going to push into our lead side just a little bit, just enough so you feel it. So we're going to take it back, press into our lead side, and from here, you are going to push straight through the roof. You're going to go as hard and high as you can go off that left side. I don't want you to try to push off this trail foot. I don't want you to push up off the trail foot. I want you to go up off the lead foot. So it's going to make you do something like this. So what you're going to notice is if you try to push off your trail foot, you're going to go this way, and you're probably going to push yourself over and kind of topple towards the target. When you go and push vertically with your lead side, you're going to create a little bit of secondary tilt. So you're going to keep your head behind the ball. Your angle of attack will be more upward. As you push harder and harder and harder off the ground, you're going to generate more and more and more speed. This is how the best golfers in the world generate speed. Think the small guys, the Justin Thomases, the Ricky Fowlers. That is how they're using the ground to generate force to hit the ball high and far. Now, if you're going to do something like that, make sure you take some practice swings first. And I would even combine it with the drill where you're actually putting the tee really far forward. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to set up, create a little bit of tilt, and I'm going to make my backswing, push forward, and push as hard off the ground off my lead side as humanly possible. So if you do everything correct and you do it properly, it should look a little something like this. And let's see if we can get one over 3 bills here. Now that is about as hard as I can push vertically. And we got ourselves a 300-yard carry and a 327-yard drive. I'd say that's enough vertical force for one day.